Please be joined this time by Coach Nick Johnson, one of the best O-line coaches around, the O-line guy at Parkview. Man, excited to have you with me, Coach. Thanks for joining me and excited to talk to you a little bit.
Yeah, man, it's good to be part of a clinic. The last 3 years I've been working clinics selling headsets. So I don't get to go watch clinics. I don't get to really do clinics very much anymore. So once I got this opportunity, I figured it got me fired up in the off season, which is, good and bad.
Awesome. Awesome. And you get, with the new age, you get to pause and stop and rewind and, all that when you're watching. We back in the day, if we weren't paying attention, man, you got, daydreaming a minute, you just missed out.
Yeah, man, you got that legal pad.
And if somebody wants to buy a headset, they can still reach out and get one. It doesn't have to. Those things don't have to be exclusive,
Yeah.
What are we talking about tonight, Coach?
We're going to talk about some power variations, God's play. So
I hear you. I'm going to get out your way, let you go.
Yeah, you're good. So just to introduce myself, Nick Johnson. I'm at Parkview. Followed Coach Godfrey over here. Him and I became good friends. We started working at Loganville back in 2006. So I've been here since 2016. I went to the University of South Carolina in Coastal Carolina. Played O-line. I've coached it since I got out of college. So it's part of my life, part of my kids' life, part of my wife's life. Just learning and adapting. And I think it's a position that's changed a ton over the last couple of years, especially just about how we train athletes and, the way we work with the new age kids and kids are more athletic and talented and, it's fun. So blessed to have a really good O-line currently. And, as we saw in the game last night, Georgia just had a lot of athletes and just outmanned the other team, man. So it's nice to have the Jimmies and Joes, and right now we got some, and it's fun to work with. So, that's when I first got here. Tyler Arndt was our offensive coordinator. He's the head coach at North Oconee now, and we were running a little bit more quarterback power at the time. Coach Holder took over when Coach Arndt got the job at North Oconee, and he swears by power. And I ran triple when I was in high school, and just very, very variety of things when I was in college. So I've been engulfed with power since I've been here, and we do it with pretty much everything we do, which I'll get to on the next part. I had to throw my little headset thing in there, but this is brought to you by Procom Headset. So game planning for power. This is one thing that we carry into pretty much every single game. We don't really care what you line up in, how you line up, where you line up, who you got there. When I say we don't care, we do care, but we just tailor whatever we're going to run or however we're going to run it around who you have and how you like to play it. And, with so much of the RPO stuff too, obviously we pair it with that. So we carry it in every game. One thing I think we do a little bit different than a lot of people is we will pull the guard, center, or tackle on power. And I think that's a little bit unconventional. I've talked to several other coaches about it, and why we do it and how we do it. And I'll go over some of that stuff here in a second. And, going back to the original topic, that it doesn't really matter who you pull or what you pull or what they line up in. But if you don't have the guys that can do it, then it doesn't really matter. And, we do a skip pull. I had a player playing at Mercer when I first got to Parkview. And I remember I had a kid here at Parkview. He was about 5'10", 300 pounds. He was a really good offensive lineman. But I tested it out with him because I was a little unsure if he could do it. And, we worked on it a couple of days and skip pulled. And, I like it because you keep your shoulders square. And I'll show you the drill we do in just a second. But it worked out pretty well. And ever since we've been skip pulling. So we'll pull the guard traditionally. But the center and the tackle will also pull based on who we play. So it depends on alignment. the personnel we face, and we played Marietta in the Final Four a couple years ago, and they had BJ Ojolari and Eric Gilbert at defensive end. So we had to do a couple things there that was a little bit unconventional, and it worked out well for us. We ran for a lot of yards. Problem is they ran for a lot more and threw for a lot more. But we do pulls in practice every single day. We do our counter pulls and power pulls every single day. We do them all positions, do them because all our centers, guards, and tackles do them. So all three pull, and I'll show you the drill just a second. I drew up a little bootleg design. You'll see. We decide what routes to pair. That's usually not my job. I usually stick to just figuring out how to block it. But we decide what routes to pair with the variation of power that we're going to run. Sometimes that might be a quick screen. Sometimes that might be just a short route where we're reading the linebacker that we're normally blocking. There's all different types of variations we do with that. That's one thing, honestly, when I first got to Parkview that I had to get used to, because we would pull a guy and the linebacker that we're pulling to was turned and sprinting outside. And I was like, it's hard to train your lineman. Like, don't go chase that guy, because obviously we threw a screen out there. So we train our linemen to get our eyes up and back if that does happen. So that takes a lot of repetition. We still screw it up all the time, but that's the way the game has changed some there. As far as read and no read, it just depends on what variation we're running. We got a quarterback this year that is probably going to get drafted in the first round in baseball, so we didn't really run him a lot. We didn't feel that was in everybody's best interest, as far as that goes. So we ran different variations of power. When I first got here, the year after, or the year I got here, the year before, they had a kid named Jack Chambers, and they ran the heck out of quarterback power. And we're probably going to get back into some of that soon, because and you'll see that variation a lot in college. But as far as read and no read, we usually have something paired with that, whether that's an actual run read or a pass read. We also try to figure out where we can get the best down blocks or the best double teams. Obviously we like running, to a play side 3 technique. If we can get a double with that play side tackle and play side guard, then it makes it a little bit easier for a back block for the center too, on the 1 technique. So we think about that as far as how they line up. Do they line up certain ways to a tight end? We look at all that stuff obviously on game day or game planning day. And then how quickly do the linebackers fill? That's a big one too, as far as who we decide to pull. If we decide to pull the tackle and the linebackers are quick filling, then it might not be the best option for us. So we have to kind of go back to the drawing board as far as what kind of variation we're going to run. Here's my little bootleg design. I wish I had film of this, like I said, but we got to delete that film all the time, because we got 200 hours on Huddle like most people. So we do this drill every single day. So my 2 little red men down here, we'll line up foot to foot every single day. It doesn't matter what position, they go line up immediately. We skip pull. Usually have a person right here. Generally the last year or two, we have the larger med balls, and I just basically make them hold the med balls. This guy's job, and this frustrates me so much, I yell at kids all the time, but their job is to meet halfway in between these 2 med balls. We put 2 med balls right here, just it's kind of like making a lane for us, but this guy's job is to meet us halfway. So we skip pull, we meet them halfway. He's got a med ball at his chest. And then the kids, reinforce their hands and feet at the point of contact there. So they go right, they go left. We actually take these yellow boards and then we move them on the outside of those blue med balls. And then we do counter pulls, the tackle on the counter pull. And then once we do that, we angle the boards. These boards right here, we angle those in. We do the kick out pulls on counter. So we do those pretty much every day. That's instead of so much stretching, we do that to stretch. And it's amazing how you do something every single day and you still screw it up in the game. It's mind boggling. And that's the frustrating part of coaching. But I'll show you some film at the end of this, and we'll see some good good power plays we ran, and we still didn't block it right, which is also attributed to the athletes we have. So some of the absolute rules, things we have to have vertical movement on the first level. We cannot get stalemated. That goes for the play side, double team, or yeah, it's always going to be the play side. So either the nose by the center and the guard, or if we have a three technique tackle and guard, we have to have vertical movement on the first level, though. Non-negotiable. We can't get forced back into the gap. We have to work on the play side half. So anybody that's blocking down or back has to work on that play side half, and that's another one that just boggles my mind, because so many times we put our head across the front of somebody's chest, and instead of putting it on their play side half. We work combos and splits. Usually if we're comboing, we'll tighten our splits a little bit. If we are comboing with a guy outside of us, like for instance, the guard combos with a tackle on the three technique, the guard's job is to get a bigger split from the center. So all that stuff is part of our game plan, and we talk about that stuff beforehand. We want to cheat. We don't want to cheat too much, but we do want to give ourselves as much advantage as we can. That play side tackle, if he does have a veer release, so for instance, if you got a one on the play side, or say you're playing an odd man front, and he's got to dip and rip and get up to the second level, we want him to get a big split, so it gives him room to get down and get up. The backside guard and tackle, the backside has to get cut off, and the reason I say backside guard there too is usually the backside guard's pulling, but sometimes if they run four eyes, the backside guard's kicking out the four eye, and then we're wrapping the tackle instead of the guard. So that backside has to get blocked. They cannot get forced back into the gap, because power is going to hit right now, and we need those gaps. So the different variations we run are just the traditional power read. We run a lot of power lock because we RPO that. We run power kick, which I would say is probably the most traditional power, because we have a lead and a kick there. We'll run power fan against some odd fronts, and then we'll run power quarterback power, depending on who we have at QB. We'll do that stuff from Wildcat sometimes, and then just depending on if we have an athletic quarterback or not. So power read, which we probably run traditionally most or more so than anything, and really we've been running the lock version of this a lot too. But it's just traditional power. All right, so I put all the lineman rules on here, and you'll see I've got the read guy here, and obviously we would try to formation this guy out, but this is our power read. So we're teaching our guys, this is power to the left. This guy's dipping and ripping to the backside linebacker, and we want him to get to the play side shoulder. These two have a double team. We have to win that first level block. The guard here is pulling, and then the backside tackle. I'd never heard this term before I got here, but Coach Holder always says pull check. All right. Now, when I first got here, he was coaching O-line with me, and I'm like, what the heck is a pull check? So he just checks the puller. All right. So I always say put button B, eyes in C. So that tackle will put his button B to protect that gap, and then put eyes in C to wash anything else outside away. If we do play an odd man front that is heavy into four eyes, which I don't have on here, but this guard will kick out the four eye, and the tackle will actually end up being the wrapper. We had to do that against Marietta, like I said, when they ran the odd front, and it worked out pretty well for us, as far as that went. So just some little wrinkles like that. So I don't have the actual quarterback running right here, but the quarterback would obviously, if that end crashes, quarterback would, take the read option right here. We haven't really ran this, but I do watch, obviously, a lot of college football, and I love when they do some power read stuff, and then quarterback will run it, and then they have this little overhang here, and then he just tosses it out to like a little quick screen or something. All the defensive guys whine about linemen being downfield and all that other stuff. So obviously I'm prone to the offensive side there. Against a 4-man front, we'll take the center, block him back, guard still pulling, the tackle still pull checking. If we got a 1, I always say this is our hardest block that we make is, 1 technique on the play side. So this guy's got to be a dude because he's got to force that 1 technique out. And honestly, we have struggled with that block in years past in 7A. You play some dang dudes right there, so you got to have a dude yourself to create that block. So once again, I'd like to, if it was my preference, I'd like to run this to the double team side and then let the center block back, and then we have a double team there. But if we run it left right here, that's kind of how we would do it. And then obviously we have the this is all janked up right there, but we would have a double team all the way back, centers back, guards pulling. I let my center, guard, or tackle during the game. I let them decide who's pulling. I tell them that I give them the right to make good discernment, and then I usually have to define discernment for them. But I give them the right to make the first couple of decisions on who's pulling. So a couple years ago, I had a very hard-headed center, and he just swore he could block back to a 3 technique. Coach, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And I'm like, man, I believe you, but I got to see it. And usually, sometime a couple of blocks in, I'd have to overrule them and say, all right, we're not doing that anymore. Let the guard stay and let the center pull. But I like to let the kids decide and let the kids, have a play in that, because I think if they get to decide on something like that, they own it a little bit more. That's our traditional just 1 power read. Power lock is what we've ran probably the majority here recently. So what we do on power lock, we basically have 2 different options. And I don't think I did draw one with the B back here. If we do power lock and we have a B back to the back side, the B back will actually go block that backside linebacker who's not blocked if we're in a 6-man front. So here we go. We got power lock, and lock talks to our front side and backside tackle. So traditionally, the front side tackle would be down with the guard, and they would double team to that backside to that will. Excuse me, I did it the wrong way. He would be via release and down to the backside linebacker. So instead, it tells him to lock. So it's an aggressive block. We work on solos every single day. I call them solos. Man on man block. I don't want to say board drill. We talk about it being like a board drill sometimes, but it's a little bit different than a board drill, just because we're not just trying to line up nose to nose and drive that guy back. We kind of want a little out angle right here on that guy. Our center or our guard becomes a solo block as well. Right here, instead of the center blocking all the way back to a 3 technique, we're actually going to pull the center. Then the backside guard becomes solo, and the playside guard or playside tackle, becomes solo, and then we're reading the mic. So on traditional power, if we call this to the left, our quarterback would open up to the right. He could see the end right here. On power lock, our quarterback opens the opposite way so that he can read that mic. If that mic fills right now, then he's looking for whatever route is replacing that mic. And we do, like I said, we'll do that. We'll do bubble screens. We obviously have a screen over here, which I'll show you a clip in just a minute. So there's a bunch of things that go into that. You got a pre-snap read for that. You have a play read for that. And then, you have a down and distance read for that, which we really hammer into the quarterbacks. A couple of years ago, it was fourth and 2, I believe. Can't remember, 4th and 2 or 4th and 1. We're on the goal line. So 4th and goal. And our quarterback rips it and throws it out there. And we all you could hear the headset, everybody go, and we caught it and scored. And it was the right read, but we told our quarterback, it's like, don't do that to us, like down and distance wise. We got a little bit more weight on our hands and we're trying to go get it. If they line up in a 5-man box, then we can block them off. They line up in a 6-man box, then we can't block them off. We have a read guy inside the box. Right here we have a read guy outside the box. Grayson runs more of this 3-3 stack stuff. So this is kind of how we block it versus the 3-3 stack. Obviously, when you get in trips and 2x2 and all that stuff. So a lot of times this guy's an overhang out here. So we'll read the overhang. But that's how we do power lock. So honestly, it puts a lot of stress on the offensive line. And it also puts a lot of stress on the offensive line coach because we have 5 solo blocks here. I mean, we got one-on-one blocks. And the thing I always say about offense is, on offense, it takes all 11. And I'm not saying it doesn't on defense because I know it does. But one of these guys on the defensive line can make one of our guys look silly and cause disruption on the entire play. Whereas we got to get 5 blocks. So it does put a little bit of stress on us. Obviously we game plan for that. Is it something that we really like this week based on, the personnel we're facing? And we've done a decent job of it in the past, but, it's something we work on continuously. That's our power lock, RPO. The power kick, we call it power kick. This would be just power to most people because you have a B back or a full back kicking out the end, and then everybody else is running the traditional down scheme, and you're pulling. So we've had all different types of B backs. I feel like we get a new one every single year, but the B back has to be gritty. I mean, he's got to be like an O lineman. Some people put O lineman there. So we have a guy. We have a kid right now, a young kid, and he is so coachable and fun to be around, and he does a dang good job. And they really have to read that end. If the end squeezes, then they almost got to turn it into a log block, and the running back has to read based on that too. And fortunately, right now we got one of, if not the best running back in the state, so that's very helpful. But so this is our traditional power kick. Kick doesn't mean anything to the offensive line. It changes nothing for us. We just run typical power. So we're all the way down. We're double teaming all the way back. Center has to have their eyes up for that Mike run through right there. Tackle's got to do a great job on the pull check too to get his butt in B. Eyes and C. That way, if that Mike does try to run through B, he's clouding that gap up. Same thing on this. If they got 4 eyes, we'll pull the tackle. And that's also something the offensive line and running backs, the running backs meet with me the majority of the time, and it's because of stuff like this. They have to see that the tackle's pulling, which means they're going to have to be a little bit more patient on getting into the gap. So, that's our traditional power kick there. Versus a 4-man front, kind of the same thing. Right here, we're pulling the center because we got a 3 technique. If we play a guy that's not like super aggressive upfield, if they're more run stuffers, I'll let my center block back. It's once again, it's all about who your center is and the things that they're capable of doing. But I'm all for helping yourself. So right here we're pulling the center, so you just get pulling back around that guard. Once again, that guard's got the hardest block here. That one technique, man. We the one thing that drives me crazy, we fault step all the time, and then that guy beats us to the inside, and that's just a killer to us. So we work on that block all the time. We call obviously solos, and my college coach called it a 2 o'clock step. But now we call it 3 and 4, which is kind of like our inside zone steps. But they got to take a 4-step right down the inside crotch of that kid. And my biggest principle in offensive line is kick ass first and worry about other stuff later. If we can't win that block, if we can't come off and just get moving on that guy, then power is probably not going to be a great play for us. So that's something we work on a good bit. One thing, this is another a little bit non-traditional thing in power is we'll run power fan, and it's really just a influence block. And I don't, but when we don't just influence, we do go out and block somebody. But if you have somebody that's big on that odd front and they have those overhangs and they're going to leave them there, no matter what you do on the outside, then we'll take our tackle and we'll actually fan them because we got numbers in the box still. We have an ace right here for our backside linebacker. We'll actually call fan that week, and usually we just run this to 3-man front. And we'll fan out to that rover, spur, or whatever you call them, and then we still got the exact same numbers. Our B back's got to do a great job digging that guy out. Obviously, this guy's in a 4-eye that he wants that B gap, so he's got to do a good job stepping vertical right here. If that guy plays inside, then obviously he's going to turn that into a log. Guards also has to read that because once he does his skip pull, it might end up going outside of this. And that's the one reason, people do different types of pulls, but man, I love the skip pull because my shoulders are always square, my eyes are always up. So I can see the stuff that happens in front of me. And our guys still miss it all the time, which drives me crazy. But that's the big advantage of a skip pull for us. Right here, if they're in a 4-eye, then obviously the guard would be back. The tackle would be pulling. We would do that a little bit both ways. If we've only ran against a few teams that have kept one backer in the box, in a 4-man front. McEachern did it against us a couple years ago, and they were good enough to do it. And we did fan out to some of their guys because it was almost like a 4-3 look, but they bossing both their backers. We took our tackle and we fanned them out and kicked that in. And you can also read that in on that as well. So that's power fan. And then we'll also run quarterback power. And like I said, we hadn't ran this in a while, except for out of Wildcat. I saw, I can't remember if it was Ohio State or Michigan. One of the two was running it the other day. And man, it's such a good play. And basically you switch responsibilities between the running back and quarterback, and it's basically outside zone paired with power. So we block it the same. There's nothing different for the offensive line. We're still reading that in right there. That in crashes, quarterback's reading the end. If he stays home or if he crashes, we're handling the outside zone. And then basically it becomes 1-on-1 with the A back and the play side linebacker there. But we're still veer releasing all the way to the backside. We got solo blocks back, and then we're pull. So this is the one thing like I had to get used to when I got here was, you teach your guard to skip pull and get vertical and be aggressive on this mic and expect this hard contact and all that other stuff. And this joker, skip pulls and the mic's like flying out here. So naturally, what do our kids do? They skip pull and then they follow this guy out here and then just run out here and get all in the play and all in the way and all that other stuff. So what we teach our guys is they skip pull to the mic. If the mic is gone, if he's vacated, then we get our eyes up and then back. Okay, so we're looking to block that guy, the free safety, somebody. We call this the touchdown maker when I was at Loganville. You don't think it's going to be an important block, but it could end up being an important block for you. So in a 3-man front, we got it drawn up with the B-back here and kind of like a trips look. But the B-back goes and reaches that rover right there. We're still reading that play side in. A-back still running the outside zone look. And we're down. We got a double team here now. Play side tackle, which I don't have drawn up, but he's veer releasing into the backside wheel. So, that's once again, a lot of stuff doesn't really change for us except for on fan and on lock. But a lot of the stuff changes in the backfield. But one thing, I love meeting with the running backs in my group. One, it helps me learn too, but it's great for the offensive line to understand what's going on behind them. I feel like I didn't really learn that until I started coaching. Our coaches really, even in college, didn't talk to us about that too much. So I think it's great to hear or see what's going on behind us because it kind of makes sense. And we talk about the RPO stuff all the time with the line, and the kids are always like, well, what if I'm downfield, coach? Da, da, da. I'm like, hey, that ain't your fault. You go block your assignment, do what you're supposed to do, and we'll worry about that if they do call it. And I can't. I can probably count on one hand how many times we've been called for lineman downfield on any of that stuff. A little pub for my boy PJ here, but Pro Quick Draw. We implemented Pro Quick Draw a couple years ago. Coach Holder does pretty much all of our scout cards during the week. He does a great job of it, and he pairs all the RPOs and all that stuff for it. We put out a scout report for the linemen. I actually have an assistant offensive line coach, and he has a Google Classroom for him. But he takes all these cards that Coach Holder draws up and puts in there for him. But this is just kind of a template of what we do with Pro Quick Draw. We put this out there for our scout team to line up. Obviously, we don't have the linemen lined up right there, but we have all the coverages and stuff. But this, right here has been valuable to us because, one, it shows the receivers. So the receivers can go see, he'll put our scripts together, for team run. And then he adds those templates in. And then we go share our team run script. So the kids can actually go in here and see the entire script before we run it at practice. It's available to them as soon as Coach Holder shares it to them during the day. And then obviously during practice, he uses these to print out for the scout team, to run what they're going to run. As far as blocking schemes, because we only run like 3 or 4 different schemes, we've got it drawn up in here, but we watch more film than we do anything. But I did want to throw this out there because we do use Pro Quick Draw for a ton of stuff, and Coach Godfrey uses it for all their defensive stuff too. So it's pretty dang neat when you can click a couple buttons and pop it out there, and and then it populates a whole bunch of cards for them. And I know PJ and them use it on their big screen at Brookwood too, so it's easy to show them during practice. That's my contact information. I'm going to show you all some film in just a second, but that's my contact information if anybody needs it. I know we're on video, so you can press pause and write that down if you need it. You can find me on Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I like to talk to people on Twitter. So if you ever need my contact information, you want to talk ball or anything, man, hit me up. So I like to be pretty authentic when I talk about how or why we do things. I pulled power from our Westlake, North Paulding, Grayson, and Brookwood games. I did sort this by gain, loss. So these are our better ones, but like you're going to see on the very first one, we don't really block it very well. Our running back's just really, really good. So I like to be authentic in that, not just pull out the exact clips and be like, oh, this is exactly how we do it and how it's coached. And my kids are really coachable and they take everything that I say and we're just better than everybody else. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I will give a shout out to the Stinchcombs too. They bought us new cameras this year. This Joker right here is so dang like high quality. It's amazing. So our tight copy is ridiculous, and not a super fan of the new huddle just yet, but I do like the new huddle because you can actually zoom in, and with this camera you can zoom in. Like, I mean, you can see these dudes fingertips and fingernails or whatever when you do it. So we've got power called right here, power left called right here. They're in a 3-3 stack, but they take their little overhang, so they really don't have the other stack backer right here. So right here this week, let me see. Yeah, we block back with the guard. Okay, so we're actually pulling the tackle this week. So this guy right here is going to be pulling. So how this should look is this guy should be blocking here. We want to stay to his play side half. I didn't draw that very good. These two should be doubling. Okay. And then we have we ran lock right here. These two, okay, because we do have a tight end, are going to be doubling up, okay, to this guy right here. And then he's going to be pulling to the play side linebacker. Okay, that one right there. And this is, like I said, this is not exactly how it works. My center kind of falls off the cliff right here, is what I call it, because his head was down. He's a young buck, but man, he's going to be good, dude. He's a great coachable kid. The guard blocks back, tackle wraps, play side guard takes the nose over. Okay, we get that guy blocked. Notice we don't block the other linebacker. Okay, he comes free, but we don't really get a great block on the front side by the tackle and the tight end. You know, they kind of stand up. And I believe this was pretty early in the game. But Spain finds a crease, man. And like I said, when you got dudes like that, you know, he's gone. So once again, we didn't block it very good, but it worked out great for us, you know. And another great view right here. We're offsides right here. My left guard's offsides right here. They're in kind of like a 3-1 look, but they walk this guy up on the tight end here. We pull the backside guard on this. All right. This is what I talk about with, you know, the tight end's blocking the walked up guy. So really, Mike should have worked up right here. You know, he's got his eyes out, not up. So he should have worked up and would basically be taking that guy right there. So once again, we don't block this exactly correct. Guard does a good job going back with the nose. You know, we talk about going vertical, okay, not so much back. You know, he went back. You know, Cortez takes a bad angle, right? He comes here and then he tries to go back to where the linebacker is going to be, not where or where he was, not where he's going to be. So we want to step right here, especially since this guy's on the other side of the center. You know, they bumped over obviously because we got a tight end here. So he should be stepping vertical right there and then coming, you know, straight here, expecting where the linebacker is going to be. But if he does beat him across his face, then he's got to wash him, which he does. Spain does another great job right here. Like I said, you know, this is just a dude being super patient and finding the seam and finding the crease. My play side tackle doesn't do a terrible job, but he doesn't get his head inside. He lets that guy get inside. Or I guess that's backside tackle. Yeah, my play side tackle does a really good job watching. You know, they're in. So that's really what created this play was the wash we get. Okay, we get a great wash right here with this guy, and that basically opens up a seam for us. You know, Spain's super patient, looks outside, inside, and then presses vertical. All right, and as most of the time when he gets out in space, he is a tough bear to tackle. All right, here's one against Brookwood. You know, and honestly, like I don't think Spain did a great job on this one because we, you know, this is the frustrating thing in coaching is, oh my God, we finally block it almost exactly right, and then our running back bounces it outside. And this is one of the things I think is the most valuable in having your running back meet with the offensive lineman too. Once again, we get a decent double. Okay, or tackle even comes down and helps on the nose a little bit, which really he should be pushing through that shoulder, working with the backside linebacker because he doesn't do a very good job. You know, because his whole body right here should be right here, not on the inside half right there. So we do get a pretty good seam right there. Our guard, Cortez gets around. I'd like to see him run his feet on contact a little bit more. And really Spain could press vertical right there, and he probably would have gotten, you know, 7-8 yards. Heck, he might have broken it, knowing him, but he still ends up getting a bunch of yards because once again, he's a dude. We'll get to one of these. I'll show you a couple of these and I'll close it. I know I'm over time. So here we go. We're running, you know, power lock right here. Or really it's kind of like the fan look. He's fanning out here. Okay. He's blocking back. He's blocking back. Okay. He's pulling. Okay. Wrapping the first linebacker in the box and he's locking. Okay. And once again, you know, this is great. Like oh man, we have a pretty great block. Our play side guard misses a little bit right here, but if he gets a block, we have a really pretty seam, and then we throw the ball outside. So, this is one of those ones where, like Mike right here, okay, he's rapping. He sees this guy, see where that guy's eyes are. He's gone. He's going to end up probably chasing this guy like he's not supposed to. So if that guy goes, he's supposed to be working up and then looking back for that guy or that guy. Because if we throw something like this and it breaks away through here, those are the two guys right there that can make the tackle. So once again, see, look, he's got his shoulder pads turned, facing the block. He's got to turn and block that guy, turn and block that guy right there. All right, because we never know where that's going to go. So that's power, but we ran a quick screen with power. And had some good success on that one. All right, kind of the same thing. This is our little spot route, or people call it all different types of stuff, but play side linebacker, okay, comes, okay, or backside linebacker comes. He's actually reading the front side right here or the backside, but based on their alignment. So quarterback pretty much knows that pre-snap. That's not really reading that backside linebacker we don't normally block. So we're running power right here once again. Up front, okay, and we do have a tight end right here, so that changes us up a little bit. The quarterback reads that pre-snap, and our tackle does a great job right there. And once again, we pull up, and some of us chase, and some of us don't. But we think that power can be ran in any formation against any defense. We just figure out whatever our formations are based on who we're playing and the personnel we're playing against. But that's kind of some of the things we do with power, man. It's we're pretty simple. We only run a couple run schemes, but we try to get pretty intricate with the run schemes that we run. Based on the looks we get and the personnel we have. So I appreciate you having me on, man, and I'm interested in watching some of these other ones too, see what I can learn.
Yeah, we got some good ones. You included. That was great, man. And I can attest what you guys do. You're good at it. You've been really good on offense the last several years, and look forward to what y'all can do in 2023 too. So, yeah, check Coach out. Give him a follow, email him, whatever. If you got any questions, and I appreciate it, man. People that aren't maybe people that we got most people in Georgia, but anybody not in Georgia might not realize the level of play y'all see every week too. Like it's a whole nother deal. The level of D-line linebackers y'all see. So it's big time football, even among the teams that go 4-6 or 3-7. I mean, it's some dang good football teams. So give Coach a follow, ask questions if you got it. And to you, Coach, I appreciate you, man. It means a lot that you took time to do this. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know.
Awesome, man. Thank you for all you do for the state, man. And football is the game. And I appreciate all you coaches, man. We're a fraternity, man. So let's stick together.
Man. Take care, Coach.
All right, man. Appreciate it, bud.
See you.
See you.